Today, I'd like to look at historical attitudes toward plagiarism. The main topic that I have been looking at for quite a while is how is academic integrity, or the lack thereof, viewed by different cultures. That includes cheating and things like plagiarism. So we're going to look at cultures throughout time. This is a short review using none other than borrowed ideas. And I guess since this is about plagiarism, I should at least try to tell you where I got these ideas. So, what is plagiarism? According to the APA, plagiarism is the act of presenting the words, ideas, or images of another as your own. Essentially, it is the theft of ideas. It is deception. You're claiming something is yours that is not yours. So, during the oldest era that we have a pile of good literature, the classical Greek era, the attitude was very much laissez-faire of who cares? Homer, the attributed author of the Iliad and the Odyssey, was famous for his borrowing. Or Rudyard Kipling says it very well.
When Homer smote his blooming lyre, it heard men sing on land and sea, and what he thought he might require, he went and took, same as me. The market girls and fishermen, the shepherds and the sailors too, they heard old songs turn up again, but kept it quiet, same as you. They knew he stole, he knew they knowed, they didn't tell nor make a fuss, but winked to Homer down the road, and he winked back, same as us.
And this attitude is still very much alive. In my senior recital at Pittsburgh State University, my instructor, Dr. Carol Ann Martin, and I put together the recitative and changed it from what it would be. What we did is we basically stole a motif from each one of my instructors that I knew would be at the recital, or had said was going to come to the recital. And I stole from them, put it in the recitative, the final recitative, and they knew I'd stolen from them. But we all just had a good laugh and went on down the road afterwards. So this is still very much alive. During the Roman era, we have a change in the attitude. The idea is, give me the money, The Latin word plagiarius, and I'm probably mispronouncing that terribly, referred to a kidnapper, in particular one who specialized in illegal or improper enslavement. Apparently, the Roman poet Martial was frequently the victim of people improperly appropriating the words of his poem without giving him proper credit. By the way, by proper credit, it is meant that he was angry that his ideas had been used by other poets, not just saying they were his. He didn't really care about that. They were misrepresenting them as their words without paying him and buying those words. Now, this attitude is also quite alive. And you see here I have two websites that, in case you're curious, in the references list, I have actually plagiarized these websites. You can find them if you want to. The one on the left, and what I did, by the way, is I typed in the word essay mill into a Google search. The one on the left is an essay mill where they will write essays for you. Essay writing made easy. You pay them money, they write the essay. In fact, if you look down here on the bottom right, they'll even write your dissertation for you. Now, I have no idea what the quality is going to be on those things. Same thing, the one on the right. In fact, the one on the right was a paid link from Google. Custom essay writing on any topic, essaypro.com. Okay, you can pay these guys. Now, I'm pretty confident the pictures of these guys down here are probably not them, but you can pay them, what is it, $10.80 for one page, 275 words, and they will write the essay for you. Now, I think I've seen a few of these things. We had at Life Prep, during the time where we went virtual, the plagiarization was going on an industrial scale. We were just using all sorts of things we catch, and we're just turning things back constantly and training them not to plagiarize. It is beyond the scope of this, but we had a specific protocol that we used for each time, so that by the time you got to the 5th time, you were doing things like getting zeros for an entire unit. So we were doing this, and yeah, this method is still very much alive. If we get into the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, you begin to get into what would be considered a modern era of thoughts of plagiarization, the Jewish diaspora. Such great value was placed on the sources of ideas, going so far to state that the proper attribution and citation can help bring redemption into the world. If you look at commentary on the Babylonian and Jerusalem Talmud, the concept of obliteration got invented because they could not explain why parts of both Talmuds were basically copied off of each other. So the thought was that somehow the attribution had gotten lost over time. So this points out that plagiarism is a sin. It is the sin of thou shalt not steal. It is a theft of the mind. It is a theft of the soul. It is deception. It is, quite frankly, a break of the 10 Commandments. You're claiming something and deceiving it. You're coveting something that is not yours and taking it for your own. So it is a sin. Now, during the Middle Ages, things got to the point where they would put together treatises like Lego sets. And the question in the mind is, why is it that the medieval Jews had this wonderful attitude towards plagiarism, yet the medieval monks and the Renaissance monks didn't? The answer is basically it was a different type of writing. These were lessons. The lesson could be the homily that was given by a priest. It could be a sermon. It could be a lesson for the kids in catechism class. You have to remember that many of the greats of yesteryear, Antonio Vivaldi, the red-haired priest, was a teacher in a girls' school. Martin Luther was a teacher of classes. We forget that he was teaching basically 12 to 14-year-old boys. One of the greatest minds of the age. Started the Reformation at the same time, was doing exactly what we were doing. So these great people were doing many of the same things that we were doing, and they were putting together lessons. When you put together a lesson, it really, there's even an exception for it. You have a spontaneous use exception. I put here the Lego classroom. I actually broke with the APA style because since I'm uploading this to YouTube to share with Dr. Wen, if she finds this, I don't want it taken down. This is good advertising. I kind of think it's neat. But this is the way that we tend to do things. And then you go into the semi-modern and modern era. So moving forward to the era of Shakespeare, the quality is improved immensely, but modern anti-plagiarism software has been finding that he's been doing a pile of borrowing. One of the software packages found considerable evidence that Shakespeare was inspired by books written by George North, a cousin of Thomas North, who was living at Kirtling Hall near Cambridge, England at the same time Shakespeare was living in the same house. Now, unlike previous borrowings in the Middle Ages, he used the work as inspiration, turned around, improved it, gave it multiple layers of meaning, 1, 2, 3 possible multiple layers, a little bit of Hocket in there, a little bit of double entendre and humor that we definitely can't use with our younger classes. So basically, the idea here is we have inspiration. During the modern era, you have, you have basically the thought of copying Like, for example, Battlestar Galactica is basically a retelling of the story of the Mormons as they went west. Mormons in space, if you will. Star Wars. Star Trek is basically Gunsmoke in space. It's a Western in space. Star Wars is the retelling of the Arthurian legends. So this type of borrowing on a theme is still very much alive. However, this is not plagiarism because this is original work. These are original works that are inspired by other things. So had Shakespeare really done 100% plagiarization, it would have been caught. It took modern software to really catch him. So, in short, plagiarization and borrowing are still very much alive in the modern era.